Welcome to the Root of It All podcast with Tree, where you will learn new habits for human betterment. We talk about all things related to personal growth, and everything is on the table. Each episode will explore different topics like self-care, mindfulness, goal setting, and more, with a focus on practical tips and actionable advice you can start implementing in your life today. Our goal is to help you become the best version of yourself and live a more meaningful life. So grab a drink, cozy up, take your dog for a walk, or go for a drive. Join us for some fun and meaningful conversations with some amazing humans. Let's grow together.
Hey everyone, this is Tree from The Root of It All with Tree, and today I have Amanda and Kate with me, and they are the most amazing human beings. They are the owners of Aligned Natural Health. Myself, I've been working with them for, I think, 6 months or more than that, and oh my gosh, we'll get into the results that I've been having. We have a great theme for you today. We're talking about procrastination when it comes to health and wellness. So welcome, 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 welcome. How are you guys
Great.
doing?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so happy to be here.
So just to distinguish, hey, Amanda, just so people know whose voice is who. Amanda, hi.
That would be me. Hello.
Yeah. And then Kate, this is Kate because there's three of us. So we want people to know who's talking, right?
That would be me. Hello.
Awesome. Awesome. So talking about procrastination, every single human being on the face of this planet has been in some form of procrastination at some point in time. So I'm going to send the question out to one of you. You guys can decide. What do you find the most that people procrastinate on when you're helping them with their physical human body health? So they are holistic nutritionists. Amanda is also hypnosis, NLP. So they have a beautiful mixture when it comes to humans. And they also do muscle testing, which is absolutely amazing. So first, actually tell people what muscle testing is.
I mean, muscle testing, ultimately, your body knows what it needs. It knows what's wrong. It knows where the problem is. And anytime you have a symptom, that's just a sign that there's an imbalance in the body. Either there's something there that doesn't belong there, or there's something missing. And that's where, yes, Western medicine does us a great service when it comes to emergencies and times where medication is needed to deal with something. But if you have something that keeps coming back, something you're having a hard time resolving, this is where muscle testing is amazing, because we can check in with the body and see what is going on. Where are the areas that aren't functioning properly, and what's the cause? And that's something that Western medicine, and they often don't look for. They look for what's the solution that's going to help make you feel better, but not what's the reason you're dealing with the things you're dealing with. And that's where muscle testing is amazing, because yes, we can tap into the body. The body is always trying to send messages, but as humans, we're not as connected as we used to be at one time. Or even think about your pets. How often it's about to rain or it's about to be a thunderstorm, pets will know ahead of time. They're able to listen to the messages from the universe, from their bodies as well, and know what's going on. And as humans, you need help in that. And so that's where we help people.
And just to piggyback on that, when we first connected, you did muscle testing on me, and you asked me and you said, have you been traveling in the last year? And I went back and I was like, oh yeah, I was in 3 different countries, continents. And you found that there was parasites. And so, yeah, it was very, very transformational for me.
Amazing.
Amanda, do you have, go ahead.
Oh, that's funny you bring up parasites, because we were talking about that earlier today, because it's the full moon tomorrow and this is when they're more active and cause all sorts of problems. We're told that they're not even in North America, that we're in this bubble apparently, that they don't affect humans. Yeah, they're more prevalent than we even know and cause so many problems. They're fascinating and gross all at the same time.
Yeah. And teach me a little bit more about the full moon and why they're more prevalent around this time of year or month.
With the full moon, it affects the water and the tides, so that parasites are mostly made out of water. So there's that element that allows them to be more active. There's also the serotonin and melatonin combination, because if I remember correctly, serotonin goes up, melatonin goes down, and our immune system is affected by that. And parasites they have so many serotonin receptors, so they're just way more active with that as well, and make your symptoms worse or give you more symptoms.
Mm. So parasites do not procrastinate this time of month, right?
No, they're focused.
Yeah, they're totally focused. Yeah. So going back to the other question, what is it that you find within your clients that they procrastinate the most with? They're essentially sabotaging themselves, right?
I think for some, it's actually just getting started. They come up with reasons why it's not going to work, or it's not the right time. The usual kind of things people would say: not enough time, not enough money, whatever that is. And when the right motivation is there to work on your health, people will do anything. We all have these cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
That costs money. That's investment. But your health is one of the most important things that you have. And if you don't have that, then what? You're not doing the things you love to do, or maybe there's sports you're involved with, or even just playing with your kids, going on vacation. I've mentioned a story where there was a family relative, they wanted to go to Europe, and they had to cancel their plans because their health was not where it needed to be. And that's something it's not nice to see, and want to get the message across to people that take control of your life and your health now. Don't wait.
Yeah, it's so important. And I very much agree with that in terms of being proactive, right? You don't want to wait. Like, for example, we all are proactive about our vehicles, make sure that there's enough gas, make sure that there's enough food in the fridge. We make sure that, our clothes are clean, or that the sheets on our beds are clean. But, you know, our own human body that gets us to A to B, that allows us to have the experiences that we want to have in life, and yet we procrastinate on that. It's definitely needs to be shifted. And do you feel that there's a shift on that?
I think there has been a shift over the last 3 years, especially with realizing that we need to take our health into our own hands a little bit more than many people did in the past. But I mean, even piggybacking on what Amanda said a little bit, when you said, like, why do people, or how, as an example of how people procrastinate, and so often things can come on slowly. Mm-hmm. And so it gets a little bit worse and a little bit worse. And you're just like, it's not that bad. I can deal with this.
I went through that. Yeah, exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
I see it because we work with a lot of women in the perimenopause, kind of transition into menopause. And it's like, I can do this. Asking for help is a sign of weakness, or a lot of people can see it as that. And so when it comes to your health, to actually go and ask for help can be felt as a sign of weakness for some. Or you've gone and you've spoken to your doctor, you've spoken to a practitioner, and they've said there's nothing wrong with you, or it must be all in your head. And so there's a lot of psychological reasons why people are scared to start working forward and putting improvements towards their health. And I think it's something that we do need to reflect on and start to improve, because even if it's not that bad, what if you do nothing? Mm-hmm. Then what? Then what happens? Right? I know we've had this conversation with you, Tree, as well, just in terms of working with clients. And it's like, if you do nothing, what if things got 10 times worse tomorrow?
Absolutely. Right. Even, and to your point about weight loss, or stop smoking, or stress management, right? All of these things manifest in the body, right? If you're overeating, you have excess weight, it's pressure on all of your organs. If you're smoking, pressure on your organs, stress, pressure on your whole entire body, muscles, everything. And it manifests in all kinds of different ways. So, and even I'm exactly what you described. I put pressure on myself, I have a few businesses, and I was like very, very low energy. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I just have a little bit of something or whatever. But then I was like I was still going to the gym like regularly,
Mhm.
but I remember I freaked my personal trainer out because I sat down and I just sat there and he looked at me. He's like, "Are you okay?" And in that moment, I was like, "I don't know." Like,
Mhm.
and that was the moment that I was like, something. So I was in a deep pain of the problem because I was so scared that, oh my gosh, like, what if something happened to me? How am I going to be able to run my businesses or to keep up with everything that I built at that time and keep that momentum? So, and that's really another reason why I want to share this with the world is that there's other options and opportunities to allow our human body to feel better. I mean, after I think it was less than a week, I started on the the supplements, and I was like, "Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm back. I'm back." And I think I messaged both of you. I was just like, "I'm back." I'm just,
Yeah.
and now even 6 months after, it's actually I realized that I wasn't even at the feeling the best when I
Mhm.
thought I was feeling good, right? So right now it's like I'm actually getting a six pack back. Like, because before I was even like um working out at the gym and everything was just steady Eddie, and now I'm just like, wow, now my body is actually responding even better to all of the things that I'm doing. It's not like I'm working out more or, I'm still the same regiment, but it's like my body is responding differently. So when your body's supported, um it's like your body does what it naturally has to do, right?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting too, going back to like the financial compensation for, everything in this world costs money, and people don't think anything if they have low energy, they're online shopping, and you think about how much people would spend in a week, $100-200 on frivolous things, right? But yet to actually allow themselves to feel better in a more supportive way, right? Like people online shopping, they think that that's making them feel better, but it's not. It's just a facade, really, right? So tell me what you guys think.
I just immediately go to the quick fix with the online shopping. It's the hit of, oh, I bought something new, it's exciting, and then on to the next thing. It's not a long-term goal, which is what health is. It's the journey of doing many different things, building those habits.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. And like health isn't a quick fix. And that's the thing too. We're so conditioned now. I mean, is it Amazon Prime that's like you get it the next day?
Yeah.
You're not going to get a better body or better health, or you're not going to clear your liver out or whatever needs to be done in your system. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's also something that people need to understand and appreciate. But if these things have been building up for your whole lifetime,
Hmm.
right? So the things that we test for, like Tree said, parasites, we found parasites with her body, and all the things we test for are stresses on your body. And when your body is in a stress state, it only focuses on what's needed to keep you alive. It doesn't focus on losing weight. It doesn't focus on reproduction. So your female hormones, if you're a woman, not if you're a guy, your female hormones are not going to be imbalanced. Like digestion, all of these things that are not considered essential for you being alive on this planet are not going to be prioritized. And they're still really important things. And so this is why we need to make sure that health is something that we focus on. And I know procrastination is what we first started talking about, and a lot of people will put it off, put it off, put it off, but it's just building up and getting worse the longer you wait and the longer you ignore it.
Well, and also even with weight loss clients, right? They have to either release emotion or to clean up a lot of like the parasites or things that, and I'm sure there's other common things as well that you guys have helped people out with. But all of these things need to be cleaned up before the weight will actually come off. And a lot of times, with weight loss clients, it's like a couple weeks will go by and, they're feeling so much better. And, but they actually haven't lost like, say, 20 pounds, which is unrealistic in even 3 weeks, right? So I always remind clients too, that's like, well, you didn't just wake up one day and be like, oh, holy crap, where'd all this weight come from? Right. It
Yeah.
really like it comes on over time. And the truth is that nothing in life is instantaneous except for Amazon deliveries, right? Like that is the only thing really.
It's
Text
true.
message, email, different things like that. But anything else, like the sun rises and it takes sometimes 12 hours for it to set, right? And
Mhm.
or it takes another 12 hours for us to get light again, or there's everything in life, it's a journey. And thank goodness, because can you imagine, like, you meet somebody and then one day you date them, the next day you get engaged, the next day you get married, the next day, and like that would be so boring, right? It's
Yeah.
like, what,
True.
where's the fun in that?
It's true.
Yeah. So even when one thing that I wanted to ask, what is your, I mean, Kate, you have your own story and your own journey and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of things. So if you follow Align Natural Health on Instagram, they have a ton of awesome, awesome reels, videos. They also have their own podcast as well. And so teach us what what was your biggest kind of like, oh wow, kind of client sort of realization, one that kind of pops to mind that that kind of broaden even the perspective of the industry that you're in? Like there's certain common things, but what was something that was like, oh, cool, that somebody, one of your clients came back and they had um like great results, even more of what it is that you knew that was going to happen with them?
We have a little girl who's a client who's 5 years old. And when she came to us, they were having a lot of trouble around the house. Her dad was telling me about how it'd be time for school, and he'd tell her, okay, put your shoes on and go get on the bus. And she would have a meltdown. She had a really hard time regulating emotions, and she would throw shoes at him and she would yell and end up having to go to her room. And with working with us, we were able to figure out, again, it's what the body needs. And so figuring out what support the body needed to function properly. On our last check-in call, like, she's sleeping way better. The teachers are no longer complaining. She's doing really well in school, and she's just a young child. And it's amazing to see with kids because they respond really quickly. When
Mhm.
you give their bodies what it needs, they start to bounce back, and they start to thrive like way faster than an adult. I mean, they don't have, I'm 41. They don't have 41 years worth of toxins and chemicals and exposures and stresses in their system. So they recover really quickly, which is really neat.
It's really exciting for her too, because she's so young. Getting started at that age, that dramatically has shifted the way her life is going to go.
And the
If
whole
it had
family.
continued before, if she had continued on the path before they were working with us, like, the path did not look good as far as being on medications and having issues in school, and like what could that have led to?
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's so amazing to see that she's on this new path. She's making friends. She's doing well in school. It's really exciting to see
Well,
for the whole
it's
family, not just her.
yeah, and it's so life-changing, and the cool thing about kids is that they don't have that analytical mind yet, right? Like, I love working with kids because they're still in that imaginative state of mind, which but also with an age of 5, they are only communicating with the world through touch, through feeling. So because she feels better, that she's able to actually interact with all the people around her in a better way, right? Like, imagine, so and this imagination mind, and this I'm just gonna do a tiny little segue. So with kids, with all the parents that like all the kids that I work with, that I tell their parents to really use out there made up funky stories with their kids. Like stories like even asking them questions like, "Oh, a tomato says what?" And then just move right into a different conversation. Because any human being, as we're asked questions, our brain automatically wants to answer it. So when you're asking kind of odd, funny questions that don't even really make sense, it forces their brain to stay in the creative state, right? Even from the parent point of view, it forces the parent to push themselves out of like using different parts of their brain to come up. Like even telling stories. Like I remember with my nephew, I had a pair, well, I still have a pair of red Converse. And so I picked him up to take him to parkour and he's like, "Oh, I like your shoes." I'm like, "Oh, they're your shoes." And he looks at me like, I said, "Don't you remember? You went back in time. You gave them to me, told me to hold on to them and said that I can wear them and that I have to give them back to you when you could fit into them." And he's like, you could tell he's like thinking, thinking, thinking. Like, did I really do that? When did that happen? Like, so it's forcing people to really get into the creative state of mind. And it's so important, even with all of your clients, that they're in that state of mind of imagination and possibility, right? Because
Yeah.
us as adults, we're in it's more common to be in that analytical mind because you've already had so many experiences. And then so you're looking at the future experience and you're looking at it from the perspective of like, oh, okay, what's the experience that I've already had that I can relate to with the experience that I'm going to have, which is unuseful. We want to be more in the mood of curiosity so that we're not procrastinating, right? Because that's also the key component of procrastination. Comparing, am I doing this right or am I doing it wrong? Right? Am I going to be judged or not?
Yeah.
And these are all unuseful things. So um the cool thing with what you both do is that when you interact, your first touch point with clients, literally, and I'm using the word touch point because you do the muscle testing, which is touch. So even when you're live at an event, teach us what that first touch point is like the free, what do you call it? The free
It's just like a
assessment.
health scan, essentially, is what we do. And kind of, it's nice to interact and be in person because a lot of the work that we do is virtual. So to actually see people in person and have that experience and show them exactly that we say to them is your body doesn't lie. It's able to give us clues as far as what's going on. And that's what the symptoms are. It's information, it's messages. And to go through with them and touch certain points on their body and show this is, and we use their arm as an indicator. And when that goes down, that's showing that something's not working the way it needs to and needs support. And it's really neat to, especially not the last event, but the one before, people were really, as soon as we said your body doesn't lie, they were like, yeah, that's true. Like everyone just got it. It was so amazing to have that experience with them and people just know exactly what's going on. You want to chime in there with Kate?
Yeah, it was really cool to like, so, okay, as Amanda was explaining, we go through and touch points on the body. We start at the top of the head and go essentially all of the organs and glands just to see what areas are functioning optimally and what areas are not. Because if I push on your arm, I'm not like hanging from your arm. It's not a strength competition. If I push on your arm and that area is functioning properly, it's easy to match my pressure. There's not an issue. But when the area that I'm touching needs help, the nervous system responds, and then you're not able to hold your arm up. So it gives us that indication that something's not right in this part of the body. And the event that Amanda was mentioning, it was really interesting because there was a bunch of people where we found really cool things. I remember there was one woman who I tested her, something came up, and then she was like all excited and went and got her husband and got me to test him and got to his kidneys. And I was like, oh, what's going on with your kidneys? And his wife was so excited. She was like jumping up and down and she's like, you found it, you found it. He's having kidney replacement in a couple weeks. And it's, again, the body doesn't lie. And so when we're testing, yes, we're finding areas that need support, and the body is giving us that indication. And then in practice, I mean, in the free health scan, we're just testing to see where are the areas and then having conversations with people. But when we're actually testing in practice, the next step is to find out what's the cause. Is it parasites or mold or heavy metals or radiation? What's causing your body not to function properly? And that's the part that's missing. A lot of the times when you go to a doctor or a practitioner, they're not figuring out what the cause is and what support is going to help give you the energy that Tree got working with us and be able to focus and function better. So it's very interesting.
It's very interesting because the thing that I find too is that when it comes to the human body, there's been like thousands of books written by, you know, doctors and just people with PhDs that have done so much research and things like that. And I find that when people are hyper focused on one specific thing, sometimes our brain well, not sometimes, all the time, our brain sorts by distinction. So if, say, even any human being is so hyper focused on one specific thing, that is going to be the answer, right? They're going to come up and that's just going to be like, yep, that's what I thought and whatever. But when we are in a more curiosity state of mind, then we're looking at things from all angles. And even with all of these books and all of these concepts, it's really what it is. If there's any practitioner, they're a practicing practitioner, right? Because we're all just practicing. There's nothing definitive. There's always exceptions to the rules. Even you look at heart surgeons, right? If he does if the heart surgeon, he or she, does anything by the book, they're always going to find something that is an exception to the rule. Because and that's what the cool thing is when you're connecting energetically with another human being, it's like their body doesn't lie, exactly what you guys are saying. And so when all of us as human beings, when we're more connected with ourselves, and that's a cool thing, the other layer that's free, no extra charge, is that with aligned natural health, is that you're teaching your clients to be more in tune with their own body as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's not only just um the service and things like that, but it's actually more of a heightened awareness, like, and it's through the questions, like all of the things that both of you were asking me about my body, I never even thought about. I was like, oh, actually, yeah. And then it's more on your awareness. And then even that's why I love the check-ins too, because I'll just be like, oh, okay, well, this, that, and the check-ins even get quicker because I'm just like, I know it's like this and this. And then sometimes it'll be like, so tell me about this. And I'm like, oh, huh. Right. And so it's a never ending thing. Like our bodies are constantly changing. And that's one of the great things too. Just about the the service that you both provide. So tell us more.
That is the cool thing about the
I'm
body.
complimenting them. That I made them blush. If you're listening to this, that's what that pause was. That was just them blushing, right? They're so humble that when they get a compliment, which is nice. That's what you want a practitioner to be. Oh, talking about practitioners, a lot of who was I speaking with, that a lot of kind of health practitioners, they tend to be pleasers. And some practitioners, they'll just say what they think that the person wants to hear sometimes. And I'm just, again, there's exceptions to the rules because people are trying to go above and beyond or do more, but it actually doesn't help the client. So that's what I appreciate about you both too, is that you tell it how it is. And that's so important. That's what you want in a practitioner, that you're trusting.
That's very important. You need to have that relationship of trust. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. But as far as telling a person what they want to hear, through muscle testing, it's the body, that's your body, that's telling us what you need. So we're not telling you anything that's just there to please you or give you the answer you want to hear. It's what does your body need? That's what we're giving back.
Yeah, it's true. And through the education that we've done on this, we're about to go to Florida in a couple weeks again to just continue to grow as well, because you never stop learning. But what I like that's been kind of repeated over and over and over again is the whole get out of your head and into your heart.
Mhm.
And when it comes to this, it's like it's connecting to the person. It's not what I think that person should be taking in terms of supplements or what I think they should be doing. It's what is their body telling me, and staying in that frame of mind to just allow it to flow to and through me, right? Because it's not about me. It's not about my opinion. It's about what does your body need? What's the message that it's sending? And I think that's an important thing to focus on, even just from the procrastination point of view. And what you said too, Tree, about how we help people become more in tune with their bodies.
Mhm.
Because ultimately that's what muscle testing is we're connecting with your body. And both of us love to educate. And so sharing that with each of our clients to like help them realize, especially when it comes to foods, because that's the easiest one where you'll see a difference. But it's like, okay, how did you feel this week? What did you eat this week? Can you see how there's a correlation between eating that or staying up late or drinking the red wine? Or
I don't know anyone that does that.
and then how you felt the next day, and they're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. And it's like, well, exactly, it's having some more awareness. You can help yourself when it comes to health in so many ways. And the purpose of what we do as well, I mean, is not to build lifelong clients. It's to help our clients get healthier and educate a little bit on the way so that they can start making different choices and changes for themselves too, right?
Yeah, with that awareness that you just talked about, even with wine or food or whatever it is, just being able to connect with, I do this and I feel like this. So if I don't want to feel like that, maybe I'll do something different for them, for the client to connect with that. That's very empowering. They can make the change. They can decide. I can decide to do something different, and I can feel something different too. It's really, really cool realization for people.
It is. And I think a lot of people have the misperception that when they meet with you, you're going to change their whole diet or anything, which which is the complete
No.
opposite, because my diet did not change. Well, I switched from red wine to white wine. so and it's very humbling when you feel better and it's a relief when you find somebody that, even when I have clients into the clinic as well, it's like they get the relief, right? Because they're learning like, oh, wow, I don't have to feel like this anymore emotionally, right? And I get to relax even more once I shift the state of mind and things like that.
Yeah, it's
Um,
such an interesting partnership actually that we're talking, because you do this from like a state of mind perspective, and then we do it from the nutrition side of things, and it's interesting because they really go hand in hand really
It's the
well.
whole puzzle. It goes together, the whole package.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's why our relationship is flourishing as well, just because we're all on the same page when it comes to the body, the heart, the mind, the nervous system, even spirituality. Like the three of us has had awesome conversations about spirituality. And Amanda and Kate, they had me as a guest on their podcast. So you can go check out their podcast too. What's the name of your podcast again? Tell everybody.
Limitless
Limitless,
health.
Oh, say it again.
Go ahead.
limitless health.
Limitless Health. Awesome. And we'll have all the links and everything, where you can reach them, how you can set up your free assessment. And I would encourage everybody to do so. If there's anything going on with your body and you're not sure what it is, you've had every test, and even for me, I had some food allergies and stuff, and I went through every single test, and it was frustrating. It's super frustrating. And then you just think, well, I guess this is how it has to be. But the truth is that it's not, which is a great thing. Just for a second, I want to loop back to the whole kind of pleasing thing and just clarify what I was talking about when it comes to health practitioners. I just want to clarify that it's from a very heartfelt place. Most health practitioners, they're very kinesthetic in nature, and that they care so much about their clients. And when people care so much about their clients, they can almost get a sense or feel their pain. Some people call it being an empath, right? And that it's such a heartfelt place. So, um, when us as practitioners, when we're helping, and I don't even really like to use the word help, I like to use the word guiding people to
Mhm.
solutions, that it is true. We want them to be able to go off and be able to, pass the baton so that they feel more confident within themselves. They can help themselves, right? And so the cool thing too is that we find even clients that sometimes become friends, which is great too. Right. So it's like this building a community and building a larger community. So that's really what I was meaning to say in terms of like the pleasing, right? People wanting to help other people and looking at all kinds of different ways. But it's also good to create boundaries. And myself, and even for both of you, we can all say that, it's a little bit of work to create the boundaries, but then once you figure out how to do it, it works beautifully. And it's all from a loving place for sure.
Absolutely. And
So
you see it in clients too, in terms of the boundaries, or, well, a lot of them don't have boundaries either.
Mhm.
So if I'm just pleasing and I'm not holding them accountable,
Mhm.
they're not learning in that sense, right? So they're not seeing like, oh, I can set boundaries. That's okay. It's safe. It's okay. And to be able to show them that, even if it's gradually for some people need more of a kind of reality check quickly, but to have the awareness that, oh, okay, this person is holding boundaries and things are still really good for them. Well, maybe I can do that too. And it makes a big difference. So it's neat.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is neat. Awesome. So is there anything else that you want all the humans that are listening to this to know about you as an individual or a united front as
What a question.
yeah, I made them blush again.
Yeah. There's the pause again. Oh goodness. Yeah, I think basically we're here to help. We have the tools to help you help yourself essentially.
Mhm.
It's just a matter that you need to decide and want to help yourself. Decide to not wait, decide to commit to yourself before it gets to a place you don't want it to be. Do it today.
Yeah, basically everyone that's listening to this, stop procrastinating.
Oh yes, that's where we started.
Yeah.
Let's get away from that.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it's easier to be proactive and take care of things now than it is to pick up the pieces and try and fix things after the fact. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that would definitely be my recommendation. Like, book a free assessment with us. Or, sorry, it's a free discovery call, not a free assessment. Book a free discovery call with us. There's nothing to lose, and you can find out a little bit more about your body and what's going on.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I encourage you all to do that. And thank you so much for joining me and helping humanity, literally, right?
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Awesome.
Well, folks, that's a wrap for today's episode of The Root of It All with Tree. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. But before we go, I just wanted to remind you that you can follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram. And we will be posting motivational quotes and behind the scenes content that you won't want to miss. You can always sign up to come live while we're filming this, or even join us online through Zoom. We always offer open question and answer after each episode that we don't record, so it's all private, but you can get more involved. So sign up for free at businessgrowthresults.com, and we're going to cover all kinds of different topics that you're not going to want to miss. And if you're looking for that one-on-one guidance or help, be sure to book a free screening. You can do that at burlingtonhypnosis.ca or call 905-634-4777. And finally, you can catch our podcast on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So be sure to subscribe and never miss an episode. Thanks for listening.